Hello, good day, good evening, and bienvenue, dear listeners. This is the first episode of the podcast. I want to take this time to introduce myself. I am your podcast host, Johnny Flores Jr., and this is Metal Gear Resurrections. I am a fan of Hideo Kojima and his works that has put an influence in music, movies, pop culture, and more importantly, video games. For this episode, we are going back to the beginning, per se, at least for me. This love affair that all started with Metal Gear Solid for the PlayStation. At this juncture, everybody knows who's played what role and the work that was placed to make this game a reality. This isn't that type of podcast. We are going to delve into a personal take this series had on me as a gamer from my teens to adulthood. These are the facts. Metal Gear Solid was published by Konami, and it was directed, produced, and written by Hideo Kojima. The game was released in 1998. Here's what I didn't know. That this game was actually the third in the series. The first two, which was Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake for the MSX, to which I still have not played and wish I did. Perhaps I'll find some time to do so and be able to share my thoughts and experiences on it. Anyway, I digress. 1998, holy shit. 23 years ago, I was 14 years old, living my John Hughes life with a Quentin Tarantino vocabulary, cursing nonstop, angry at everyone and anyone, looking for an escape. I started to go back into gaming. I was absolutely getting tired of the fucking Nintendo games. I had grown up with Nintendo games and consoles. NES, Super NES, Game Boy Color, N64, Super Mario Bros. 3, Duck Hunt, Tetris, Mario Kart, Dick Tracy, Super Mario World. And it goes on and on with the first party titles with the words that start with Mario or Super in it. I was tired. I was growing up and needed an escape from that mustachioed fucking plumber. Off I go on an adventure to seek out a new system and a new game to appease my maturing appetite. I traveled to the nearest game store. At this time, it was Funkoland. If you don't know what that is, kiddos, that was the game store before GameStop. I perused through the store, searching for new wave gaming. I needed something that wouldn't give me buyer's remorse, something that would blow my teenage fucking mind. I didn't know what to really look for, so I asked the store attendant, I'm fucking tired of Nintendo and their kiddie fucking games. Let's save the princess for the millionth fucking time. What do you have that wouldn't be too kid friendly? The guy just plainly pointed me in the direction of the Sony PlayStation area of the store. I walked over, and already my interest was piqued. I caught a glance of new releases, and I saw a cover of a clean white background with red lettering. Metal Gear Solid, with the words on top of that read, Tactical Espionage Action. This was it. This was the game I was going to start with. I grabbed the game, went over the counter, asked the associate to add on the system and whatever else I needed. I rushed home, set up the system, popped in the controller and memory card. At that moment, I placed the disc inside and I pushed down the disc cover. I would start on a journey that would span 23 years and counting. The system booted up and started to play the game. This game was already a leg up with the cutscenes in the beginning. Being told the protagonist, Solid Snake, and you, the gamer, are being sent on a top secret mission, one that pits you against your former unit, Foxhound. Their demands? The body of Big Boss and $1 billion. If the demands are not met, they will launch a nuclear weapon on the United States. And where does this all take place? A remote island in Alaska's Fox Archipelago, codenamed Shadow Moses. Automatically, I was like, God damn, that is a fucking cold place to start some shit. How does one unit take over a secret weapon facility? What do? The Liquid just roll in and say, we're taking over, you fuckers. Your guards are now with us. Fuck these rich bitches and their weapons manufacturing. We're the new bosses, baby. That was what I was going to find out whenever I played this game. I don't know if anyone else did this or I'm just one weird motherfucker. Since this game came out in the fall, I would open my window and let my room get cold to sort of feel how the character would. On a side note, I would later on in the series and more senior myself smoke while Solid Snake was on the screen, and that was a big fucking mistake. Not only did I burn myself, but my room would also reek. That shit was over and done with lickety split. Now a message from our sponsor. Have you been feeling ill? No history of heart disease in your family? feeling your chest tighten, yelling out "Jim" at the top of your lungs, then you may have been targeted by a genetically modified virus called Foxdie. If so, please contact your healthcare professional to see what are your options. I've contacted mine. Dr. Naomi Hunter, a wonderfully practitioner whose accent will disappear years from now. I didn't get the answer I wanted, but at least I know what was going to kill me. Thank you, Dr. Hunter, and your deceptive and enigmatic past. Now back to our show. There I was, shot out of a fucking submarine. My character saw its snake swimming in freezing waters. For any other man, surely would be dead. But in a quick explanation, we find out that Snake has been fitted with a snaking suit and given an injection that would prevent hyperthermia along with various other elements throughout his mission. Pretty convenient if you ask me. Miracle shot? Super gear? In order to fully submerge into the plot and lore of this series, you're going to have to let go all disbelief and shove yourself into this world Kojima has created. First section of this game, the dock. This is the place on my first playthrough that took me 30 minutes to figure out. You have to hit the fucking button to call the fucking elevator. I felt like a moron on that run. This is also the time I would realize that these guards aren't your garden variety. These sons of bitches, not bosses, would be able to detect my movements, hear and see my footsteps, freak out, and call for backup, especially if you leave a corpse behind. I mean, come on. Like, no one has ever seen a dead body on a dock in Alaska slowly freezing. But this would literally change my game plan and my play. How I needed to move around, wait on enemies, and observe their patrol patterns. By the time I figured out that I needed to hit the elevator button, and what would feel like an eternity for that said elevator, which brings me to a side note, what is up with the elevators at this facility? Every damn elevator, no matter what the location, took absolutely fucking forever. Who did I need to talk to about this? Was maintenance on vacation? I mean, there was no one else using these fucking things, except my character. This is the shit that made me nuts and go through 2 controllers. Finally, it arrived, my savior. The goddamn elevator. At this moment, I had killed all the guards. I had used the choking action button and kept going till the guard's neck snapped. From the frustration of waiting, turned me into a neck-snapping fiend. Good God! Should I seek therapy? Move on. Keep going. Keep snapping. I ran to the elevator and a new cutscene sequence has initiated. This is where my spine-tingling watching the character all geared up for the underwater submersion start to get ready for the mission at hand. Listening to Colonel Campbell continuing briefing on the mission we were heading, the main title sequence flashed on the screen. This is the game I've been waiting for. Finally, a game that would cater to a multitude of needs: action, drama, fantasy, and stealth. And this is where I shall leave you, dear listeners. This was part 1 of 3 for Metal Gear Solid. But I shall leave you with a poem, Nothing Gold Can Stay, by Robert Frost. Nature's first green is gold, her hardest hue to hold. Her early leaves a flower, but only so an hour. Then leaf subsides to leaf, so Eden sank to grief. So dawn goes down to day, nothing gold can stay. I'd like to thank you for listening to the first episode of the Metal Gear Resurrections podcast. I'm Johnny Flores Jr., your host. I shall return for part 2 in 2 weeks with more. Subscribe, rate, and review wherever you get your podcasts. I'm quite literally on every fucking platform you could think of. If you want to reach me, ask questions or ideas for future pods, you can email me at metalgearresurrections@yahoo.com, on Twitter at metalgearres, last part's R-E-Z, or on my page at Johnny_Flores Jr. And please go out and support your local libraries and delve into the world of books and imagination.